Okay, today I'll talk about our monetizing networks with service exposure solution, and I'll give you a brief review of what are some of the pains that you'll see with your customers, as well as some of the solutions in place. So let's start first with some of the things that's happening out in the industry in terms of the market. Right. So first thing that we see is that around the applications, and a lot of the applications today are really being used on two types of devices, whether it's mobile phones or laptops. All kinds of users using cool and useful apps with these different kinds of devices, different kinds of access out there. And they're ranging from things like voting applications to ringback tones to messaging applications to things like sophisticated voice over IP with all kinds of video sharing. And these types of applications, all applications in general, are being developed by two different kinds of groups. One is developers that are more internal and in-house. And these internal developers at the network operators are people who typically focus on core functionality, things like call control and messaging and voicemail, a lot of the real heavy bones, heavy lifting applications. But they're also looking to do and building other applications as well, things like the televoting and location-based services I mentioned before. The second group of developers are really more third-party developers, and there's definitely more of those out there. These are folks that develop on behalf of the carriers, as well as people who develop their own applications that can be deployed at the carriers. And these third parties are out there in the world at building all kinds of apps around the world. And with these cool and useful applications developed by both internal and third-party sources, it's really to help monetize the three assets that are unique to your customers. The first is really the networks themselves. And your customers will typically have all kinds of networks, whether it be wireless or wireline, or even some of the emerging IP and cable networks. All kinds of networks that they made billions of dollars of investments in, and they're looking to monetize today. Whether they're looking to streamline existing assets or looking to acquire more assets, lots of things that can be utilized in terms of reaching more of their subscribers. The second thing that's the unique asset that they have is their existing revenue relationship. Whether it's a postpaid, a prepaid, an online or an offline model, all kinds of revenue relationships that are unique to the subscribers. And then third is really around the unique subscriber information that your customer has. Whether it's the types of plans that they have, the types of devices that they have, the types of usage patterns, or even things like location-based services, all kinds of unique information that the network operator has. And these three things are really making up the unique assets of a network operator, your customer. So what's happening in the world today that we see? Well, first of all, as the internal developers are building these applications, they're needing to access both network capabilities, existing revenue relationship information, as well as unique subscriber information to develop and deploy those services. And most of this is being evidenced in a lot of the point-to-point integrations and special processes needed for those internal developers. In addition, a lot of the third parties are also needing to access these unique assets. And now there's even more of these point-to-point integrations happening today. So as more of these applications are being developed by both internal and third-party developers, now these applications in their runtime are starting to utilize these direct assets. A lot of these point-to-point integrations and unique business processes are causing your customers to be slow. And that slowness is really starting to manifest itself in terms of time, launch times, as well as loss of revenue opportunities because of that slowness. The second thing we see a lot in the industry is probably many have seen is this whole phenomenon of app stores or third-party development communities, things like the Apple iPhone with a lot of the introduction of new services. We've seen things like 40,000 applications for the iPhone in under 9 months, over 400,000 registered developers, and over 1 billion downloads. So what has happened? A lot of these third-party developers that are building these cool and useful applications are starting to bypass the carriers and starting to go to these app stores to build all these useful applications. And more we're seeing this phenomenon happen. And it's causing your customers to really be unattractive to business partners. whether it be third parties, whether it be different kinds of business models, starting to become more and more unattractive. So really impacting the overall revenue and time to market, and really the whole innovation of services. And what's happening now is that a lot of customers, if they are in fact having a third-party strategy for developing these cool and useful services, more and more of these third parties are starting to get onboarded. And what's happening is that a lot of the customers are starting to become uncontrolled. How do I control these third parties? How do I make my services more reliable as I'm deploying these third-party services? So now that is causing a problem in terms of control and reliability. And then as these third parties are starting to get more introduced out there, right, now is causing this problem of point-to-point integration, business process orchestration to become really unprofitable to scale. Because now, how do you actually scale processes that were maybe more point-to-point in nature, more customized in nature, more devoted to or dedicated to a certain type of service? So now we've got, this is the real situation in terms of the pain. We've got slow, unattractive, uncontrolled, and really unprofitable to scale. So in terms of how do we work through this solution, how do we actually relieve some of this pain, let me go ahead and erase a lot of this complexity in the middle here and talk through some of the solutions that we see in the customers today, how we're being successful with monetizing these unique assets that a carrier will have. So let me just erase these. So when it comes to solving the problem of monetizing networks with service, we deploy a solution called a service exposure platform that really has one platform that can talk to all those unique assets, whether it's the networks or the existing revenue relationship or the unique subscriber data, that can be a very unique way of being able to expose it to both internal and third-party developers. And this services exposure platform really helps with the scale of delivering all kinds of new innovative services. And I'll talk through the 7 unique characteristics of a service exposure platform that we see out there in the industry today. Just point that. All right. So the first thing that we do is help our customers become fast. And how do we help our customers become fast with a service exposure platform? The first thing we do is actually provide a lot of productized interfaces. And these are interfaces to both network and IT assets. With interfaces into network assets, we can do things like SMS protocols, MMS protocols, call control protocols, things related to things like SIP and diameter, where we have a lot of productized interfaces to network elements. We also have a lot of productized interfaces into BSS and OSS. For example, a built-in integration to billing and revenue management. So these interfaces help our customers become fast because they're productized, they're out of the box, all the leading interfaces for delivering services either internally or third-party developed. The second thing that we provide with our service exposure platform is a partner management module that basically helps partners get onboarded. How do I define the partner? What is that partner allowed to access? How should that partner be given in terms of when to access, how much they can access, when they should be shut off, when I should be able to be concerned about their delivery of services. So that partner management module helps me with all of that, as well as things like revenue share, service level agreements. The second thing that we help our customers become is more attractive to business partners. And we do that with providing interfaces that their business partners can use in a variety of ways. One is native interfaces, things like SMPP, MMS protocols, maybe in some cases even things like SIP protocols, to be able to do native interfaces to be able to develop applications. We also have a set of web services application interfaces. So either you can do things like SOAP or SOA web services, and more we see things like Web 2.0 web services, like RESTful web services for developers. And the key here for attractiveness is to offer all kinds of interfaces, because partners are going to need different kinds of interfaces to fit their different kinds of skill sets. Whether you're a traditional telco developer, maybe you're somebody more enterprise focused, maybe you're a Facebook or social media developer, you're going to need something that's more suited to your development style to really become the most attractive type of business partner. The third thing that we do is provide control for the customers. And how do we do that? We have a policy enforcement module that allows the customer to enforce policy on a few levels. One is actually on the network level. So who gets access where, and how do we actually control network activity, maintain control of the network so that no outages occur. We have policy on the services level or on the applications level, so we know exactly what application should go where. And we also have policy that's capable on the subscriber level so that you can further define how those services and to who. And the fourth thing that we help customers become is really achieve more profitable scale. How do they profitably scale? Well, we actually provide a set of enablers that can be reused as they launch new services. Right? These are enablers like messaging, charging, profile enablers that can be used in a wide variety of ways so that as they add new services, as they add new partners, as they even add more companies, let's say they're going through acquisitions, a common set of development and deployment tools that can help them really scale their business. So those enablers help them profitably scale, all running on commercial off-the-shelf hardware, all using the best technologies and standards for both the network and the IT world. So really promoting the whole idea of convergence of web and IT, of web and telco. And this is how we help our customers monetize their networks through a service exposure platform. And these are many customer case studies out there of success. We've helped customers like O2 in the UK become fast. They've said that they've been able to increase their speed of deploying services by almost 2x, right? Reduce the time by 50%. They're looking at about 60 to 70% savings now in terms of launching new services. We have helped customers like Telecom Italia become more attractive. They've been using one service exposure platform implementation to attract business partners like MVNOs, telematics companies, enterprise wholesale companies, all kinds of new different kinds of business partners to attract different kinds of things. We've helped customers like Vodafone in the Netherlands to maintain control of their network, having no outages and really enforcing policy on the network services and the subscriber layer. Then we have companies like Singtel, which are really scaling their implementations not only in Singapore but across their portfolio of companies around the world. So the Service Exposure Platform is based on our Oracle Communication Services Gatekeeper product, and it complements a lot of our other Oracle products, including our billing and revenue management system, as well as our enterprise service bus and other products within Fusion middleware to really help orchestrate both the network and IT assets. So this is monetizing networks with service exposure.